everybody, welcome to the first day of Bookmas. Hey everybody, my name is Sofia the Bookish Floor. Welcome back to my channel. So today we're gonna be talking about the first book I read for Bookmas, and this is a classic book, a really short book. You can read it in a super coffee break while you're preparing your lunch, and you're gonna take longer to prepare your lunch than you're gonna take to read this book or listen to this book. This is like while you're brushing your teeth kind of book. Well, you might like take less to brush your teeth unless you're super like, well, maybe not. Maybe if you're one of those people who do like a super long routine, you might take the same amount of time. But this is a super quick read, listen to, that you might just want to get out of the way. However, just because it's a super short children's classic book, don't dismiss it, because there's so much to unpack in this book that I wasn't expecting, that I thought it was a good way to start, but also for us to reflect on this holiday season. So let's go ahead and get started with the first book, which is The Snowman by Hans Christian Andersen. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and put it right here. This is the version that I was able to listen to. So I found this audiobook over on Storytel, which is an alternative to Audible or Everand. And if you haven't heard of it, it's because it's a Nordic company. They actually operate out of Stockholm. It's an excellent alternative. If you're interested, I can give you guys a link to it right there in the description box. I do love it. You have so many books that you can access through there. Again, it's just like Everand. You have a subscription, and then you can access your books based on that, sort of like Netflix and all that, but for audiobooks, for ebooks and all that. So I was able to find the audiobook for that particular version of The Snowman by Hans Christian Andersen. And like I said, this is a very short book. It's only 10 minutes, but it is a great introduction to not only fairy tales, like traditional fairy tales, which I think is great for kids who want to read more, and also for adults, because as you guys know, we have been kind of getting accustomed to fairy tales in the modern age, and they have this big studio kind of revamped way of telling fairy tales. But fairy tales used to be a lot grittier, darker, and not necessarily darker, just a little bit more realistic, grittier. They have a bit more of a message, more of meaningful, and not the new modern way of telling fairy tales. They don't, because they do have messages, but they're definitely a bit more sugar coated, and they don't necessarily need it all the time. And although The Snowman is a sweet story, there's still a lot of things that you can get out of it. And the language, again, isn't so sweetly coded. It's simple language for children, but still language that adults are not gonna find kind of dumbed down to. I think that simplifying the language, not giving it a runaround, being a little bit more straightforward, but still having something there for you to think about and for you to analyze, and for you to see the undertones and the subtext of what they're saying is very important. And in this 10-minute story, you can see all that. So let me tell you about what this is. So this is a story. The story starts with the snowman kind of waking up from, I guess, creation, from being created out in a outside of a house. The snowman has been created by children, we assume, and he just sees this kind of light in the sky, and he sees this light that is bothering him, and he's telling this story about this kind of like light that is following him. And then a dog comes out, and the dog talks to the snowman, and they kind of have this conversation about life. I guess the dog tells him about his life, about what his life has been in the house, what is he doing outside. The dog is in a long leash, because he can go to talk to the snowman, but he tells the snowman what his life was before in the house, why is he now outside the house, why is he in a leash. So he tells his experience with the humans. So that's why I'm saying that there's a lot of text, there's a lot of deeper meaning in there. What behaviors will get you to be in the house in a warm place, what behaviors will get you to be outside in the cold in a leash. You know, fairy tales used to be stories, or there still are, but there used to be ways for kids to learn how to behave. And aren't all stories like that? They tell us a story for us to know how to move around the world, to know other people's experiences, and to know what is right, what is wrong. Talking about, not all the reading is not political, the reading is not that deep. This story about a snowman is that deep. That dog is telling us what behaviors got him kicked out of the house. So yeah, there's a lot in that 10-minute stories. And then like I said, the snowman is talking about what is his, like, his feeling, how he feels, what is, like, he's comprised of, like, what is his mouth, what is his face made out of, what is this thing following him, and during the day, during the night, those different lights. The dog explains what are those different lights, what is the sun, what is the moon, why does it change, and all that. And then he sees this thing inside the house that is calling to him, that he doesn't understand what it is. And it's kind of like a fireplace, kind of those iron fireplaces that have, like, I don't know how to explain it, like the tube, like the iron tube that is like the little stove, like the iron, like, rectangle stove, and then they have, like, the tube to expel the, like, you know, the air, whatever. I don't know what it's called. You know, oh my god, the word is not in my brain or in my tongue. I don't know what it is. El humo. ¿Cómo se dice el humo? Smoke. The smoke. My brain, to smoke, to, like, expel the smoke. So yeah. So anyways, so he sees that, and that dog explains what that is, like, what the iron is, like the iron stove, what it is, and how it's warm, and all that. And also I was thinking, like, oh my god, this is Olaf. Of course it's gonna be Olaf. Like, all that's the whole thing. And that's how we know, like, again, how they have taken all these classics and put them into, like, Disney films and all that, and they have transformed. But yeah, the basics of Olaf is the snowman, but they changed it a little bit. But yeah, the whole personality is sort of like that. Not as annoying, not as, like, again, cheaper, not as sugary, not like that. This snowman is more existential, more wondering what life is about. Again, less sugary, less peppy, less like that. But anyway, he's looking through the window from outside into the house, wondering why is he being pulled so much. But he's a snowman, he can't walk, he's just looking towards the house. And then they continue talking about what it is, and he sees, like, the days go by, he sees the weather changing, and then the spring coming in. All this happens in a 10-minute audiobook. All of this that I'm telling you. Again, it's 10 minutes, but it feels so rich in 10 minutes. and they talk about the changing of the season, how spring is coming and we know what's gonna happen. And then how I know I'm gonna spoil the whole story, but this is really, you should go and listen to it, because it's very there's a lot more. I'm not, obviously we all know how this ends. this is this is a 10-minute children's book by Hans Christian Andersen. We understand how this is gonna end with the snowman when spring comes, but it is, I think, important for you to listen to it, to listen to the words, and to analyze it. If you have very little ones, maybe you don't want to listen to them, but for you as an adult, I think it's very enriching for you to, it's very, I don't know, it's very rich, it's very, yeah, an enriching experience for you to listen to a children's book and see all of the meanings that you can take out of it. After all, these are adults reflecting on life and writing these stories, and there's a reason why they're writing these stories. So there's a lot that you can take out of that. And you can start your Bookmas challenge with that. So anyways, I'll continue, and if you don't want listen to the ending, skip. I'll put like spoilers, and once the spoiler is, put it on mute, and when the spoiler banner is off, you can continue listening. But I mean, I think you know how this is gonna end. But anyways, when the spoiler banner is off, you can continue listening. So spring comes. The snowman still feels that pull towards the house, and towards the stove, but he doesn't understand why. And then once spring comes, obviously the snowman is gonna melt, and the dog reflects on, or the dog is staring at the snowman, and he sees that the base of the snowman is the broom that they use to clean the ashes of the wood from the stove. So he reflects that the snowman base, the snowman core, is made out of that broom that cleans the ashes, and that is why he was always being pulled towards the stove. So I thought that was also very interesting. That was something that was like the big twist, I guess. I didn't expect for that to happen, especially because obviously we have the reference, and again, from the beginning I thought, oh my god, this is Olaf. Because obviously we have that reference from Frozen. I didn't grow up listening to a lot of Hans Christian Andersen. I grew up, even here in Mexico, we all know The Little Mermaid. We all know a couple of Hans Christian Andersen stories, but the snowman in particular wasn't something that we grew up listening to or reading. But we know about snowmans, right? But we don't know that particular story. Only like the very top of Hans Christian Andersen, I think we've heard of. And I've never listened to that particular story. And when I started listening, that was my reference. I thought, this is it. This is the guy. This is the base for Olaf. And then, but I never understood that pull towards summer and warm things and stuff like that. So when that happened, I thought, oh my god, that is so beautiful. Like, you, to your core, there's always something in you to your core. And that's what Hans Christian Andersen, I thought, was talking about in this reflection, in this story. Like, no matter who you are, no matter what you are, what you're made of, there's something in you, in your core, that even if you're made of ice, there's something in you, inside of you, that is gonna pull you naturally to what you are, what your base is. And because his base, his core was that broom that is always warm, that is always connected to the ashes, to the iron stove, to the warmth. That snowman, even though he was made of ice, he was always having this gravitational pull to the warmth, even though he was, again, made of ice. So I thought that was, like, again, in a 10-minute children book, that reflection was kind of took me aback a little bit at the end. So there is so much there, and so much that you can reflect with your kiddos, even with yourself. I thought, how can this be so deep? It's just a story about a snowman. And yeah, I thought that for the holiday seasons, what a way to start. What a way to start this Bookmas challenge with a very simple, very like not, I didn't think that this was gonna be like a throwaway book, like something that I could read easily and check like one of my 24s like super fast. But because it's Hans Christian Andersen, is one of those not that because it's Hans Christian Andersen, but because it's one of those classic, one of those that stand the test of time, and because you know that those fairy tales from way before have core meaning in them, because that how stories used to be told with a sense of purpose. There was something in them. They're not just throwaway stories. You know, there's something deeper in them, that I knew there was gonna be something in there. But man, like again, that ending really surprised me. And you can take it even further for like lessons, for like an activity, for something that you're planning, if you are doing it with kiddos, if you're doing it in a class, if you can even take it like to teenagers if you want to, if you want to do it, if you want to do an activity with your family during the holiday seasons. If like, I know that's not like the demographic that usually listens to this, but I thought it was super interesting. So anyways, that was that snowman. I thought it was very deep, very profound for a very short story. Wasn't really expecting that much, but boy, did it surprise me. And I think that it's oddly appropriate for this time also, and for the world that we're living in right now, that underneath that cold snowman there was something else pulling him into calling him, and that his core was something different than maybe he appeared. And also that we can all be pulled towards the same warmth and the same desires. At the end of the day, we are more similar than we think. So anyways, that was my first book for Bookmas. So yeah, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna check my bingo and my bingo card and my prompt to see what I can check off. Let me see. I don't know why it looks so big. This is like regular like piece of paper, but if you want to check this out, this is over at Instagram. Over If you want to check this out, this is over at Instagram, over at bookmas_challenge. We have the bingo and we have the prompts. Let me see. I don't have a snowman, and I do have fire though. I don't have firewood or a dog, but I do have candles. I don't think I'm gonna mark anything because there's still 24 more books. What you can do with a bingo is, if they mention any of these things, or if you see it on the cover, you can mark it. We have nutcrackers, deer, gingerbread houses, trains, garlands, different things. So I think I'm gonna wait. If I don't see any fire anywhere else, I can do the candles, but because I have 24 more books, I think I'm gonna wait a little bit. Let's see over on the prompts. We have the extra round prompts and we have the regular prompts. Let's see on the regular prompts. Read a book that takes place in one day. Read a book in the big city or a small town. Read a book about a different holiday tradition. Read a book that has an impossible mission. Read a book that is not about romantic love. Read a book that has a Christmas secret or mystery. I think I'm gonna read a book that is not about romantic love. And I think I'm gonna mark that one because this was about longing and this was about calling. And I think that the snowman really had that calling towards the worm, and he couldn't understand what that was. And I thought that was some sort of love and connection. He just couldn't understand it. And I'm gonna mark that one. And yeah, I'm gonna be number 5. So I don't think you can see it with my white marker, but I'm gonna mark that one. And just to read you the prompts for the extra round, this is if you wanna do it. If you mark all of your regular prompts super fast, it's like 6 prompts. But if you wanna do 6 more, because again, I'm doing 24 books, you can just pick 6 books. But if you wanna do 12 or if you wanna do 24, you can do the extra round. Is read a book that takes place in a different time and space. Read a book about a different holiday. Read a book with a movie adaptation and watch the movie. Read a book that is the first of a series. So that's a commitment. Read a nonfiction book. Read a book that has a Christmas recipe that you can make, that you have to make. Yeah, those are all the prompts for the extra round. So again, you can print this or you can simply screenshot it and just mark it however you guys want to do it. I love printing them because I can keep score over here. So yeah, these are the prompts and the bingo. If you guys wanna check that out over at Bookmas_challenge, you can check this out. If you wanna screenshot it, print it, or just save it and mark it and just follow the challenge. Remember to tag me over at the Bookish floor and also over at the challenge account. And I'm gonna be uploading a video every day with a book that I have read. I have these books as recommendations for you guys and just for you guys to follow what I am reading when it comes to holiday books. They're not all gonna be Christmas, some are gonna be holidays. Like this one, The Snowman, is not really a Christmas book. This is a seasonal book. This is a holiday book. I don't think I would even consider it a holiday book. This is a seasonal book. This is about winter, I guess. This is about existential crisis. This is about a being that is existing for a moment in time during the winter and what that entails. And yeah, we tend to read it during the holiday season and attribute it to holiday and Christmas, but really it's more about the passing of time and how temporary some things are. In this case, The Snowman. So yeah, like I said, very short but very deep book, and I would suggest perhaps starting this challenge or this holiday reading with this wonderful book. So anyway, let me know if you guys have read any short stories or any short books that really surprise you and really have a punch to them. Write them there in the comments. If you have any other holiday, seasonal, Christmas, or any other celebration, Yule, Navidad, Reyes, Kwanzaa, any other holiday season books, put them right there on the description. Remember that right here we read diversely. They don't all have to be Christmas books. We read all kinds of books, all kinds of winter holiday books here, nonfiction, fiction, whatever you want to add. I already said my TBR. However, things can change, things can move. This one wasn't part of the TBR and I just squeezed it in, and I'm really glad I did. So yeah, comment in the description if you have no idea what to comment, if you haven't made a list, if you don't know any holiday books, you're just taking these videos as suggestion to maybe create a list. Go ahead and comment maybe a snowman right there on the description. And remember that I did do this challenge last year. I'm gonna leave it as a playlist for you to watch, and maybe you can get some ideas from those books for you to add to this year's list. So thank you so much for watching. Remember to keep reading and keep blooming, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.